Welcome to Joydella Fashion Guide. In today's video, we are going to be making a 4-layered dress for a little girl. Okay, 4-layered dress or 4-tier dress. The measurements you are working with is shoulder 9 inches, the shoulder to the bust area 5.5, shoulder to waist 10.5. The armhole depth is 4.6 inches. And the armhole round is 11 inches. The chest is 20 inches and the waist is 19 inches. We are going to be working with a neck width of 5 inches, and the neck depth for the back is 1 inch and the front neck depth is 3 inches. Now the layered or the tier are going to be cut equally. We are going to be making them in gathers form, and the full length of the dress is going to be between 20 to 22 inches. So we are using 10 inches for the upper part of the dress, and we are using about 12 inches for the lower part of the dress, so everything will be around 22 inches. Now for the lower part of the dress, we are going to be using the lining to cut the flare part where the gathers is going to be sewn to. So for the flare length, we are going to be making a length of 5.5 inches in height. The height is going to be 5.5 inches, while the length will be 2 yards of the African print. This is the fabric we are working with, and a yard of this fabric is 34 inches. So we are going to be using the full length of the fabric. Now to know the amount of fabric you need, you can multiply the waist measurements by 3. Okay, depending on the amount of fabric you have. The waist we are working with is 19 inches, and when you multiply 19 by 3, it will give us 57. So I decided to just make it a round figure, so we are making use of the 2 yards. The 2 yards is will be a total of 68 inches. So since it's a gathers dress, it's still okay. So we're going to be making use of that. So to cut the gathers part of this dress, we are going to, each of the layers, they are going to be the same, and the height is going to be 4.5, but when we are cutting, we are going to cut 6 inches because we need ½ inch same allowance for the upper part, and then the lower part we are going to be folding it twice, so we need 1 inch to fold it. So 1.5 plus the 4.5 will give us a total of 6 inches. So before we cut this main fabric, I'll just show you on the lining how to cut the lining part. This is the lining we are working with. And don't forget the waist we are working. The waist circumference is 19 inches. So we are going to be having 19 as the circumference, and then the length of this is going to be 12 inches. The length of the lining is going to be around 12 inches. So if you don't want the lining to show too much, you can make it 10 inches. So between 10 and 12 inches is still okay. So then we fold it in the triangular form. So 19 divided by 4 will give us will give us 4.75. So that is the radius. And remember, we also need a zipper allowance. So this will be enough for the zipper allowance as well. I'm using 1.5 inch for the zipper allowance, which is 3 inches. So by the time we add 3 inches to 19, we're going to be having 22 inches. So this is the radius we are working with. We are working with a radius of 5.5. And then the length. And make the length 10 inches or 12 inches. If you are going to make it 12 inches, then we have an interval of 3 inches each. Okay. And if you are going to make it a length of 10 inches, that means you're going to have an interval of 2.5. So let's go for 12 inches. So this is folded into 4. Fold it into 2 first, and then fold it in a triangular form like this. So we are going to cut. So this is what we have. So we can use this side as a zipper allowance side. Okay, it's going to be like this. I'm going ahead and notch the midpoint. So you see we have 22, so it's enough for the zipper allowance as well as the waistline. So you are going to mark where we are going to place the layers. You are going to put the first one here on the waistline. The next one will be at 3 inches, while the one after that will be at 6, and then 9 inches. So this is the guide for where we are going to sew the gather stitch. So this is 2 yards. I have 34. So I'm going to be cutting what you are using for the gathers. So I'm using 6 inches. use this to cut out the other 3. So these are the 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to be cutting the upper part of the dress now. And if we still have enough fabric, we can make this 3 years. You can add 1 year to it so that the dress can be full and fine, because you are not using hard net for it. So to cut the upper part, you fold the fabric into 2. To know the amount of fabric to put on fold, you use the widest circumference that we have divided by 4. So the bust is the widest, which is 20 inches. So we divide 20 by 4. We are going to be having 5 inches. And then we just add seam allowance to that. You can add 2 or 3 inches seam allowance so that I can get a nice ample curve. That will be 5 plus 2 or 3 is okay. So here we have 8. And then the shoulder we are working with is 9 inches. Divided by 2, that will give us 4.5. Okay, normally we'll add ½ inch to our shoulder measurements, but because this is going to be a sleeveless dress, we're going to use the 4.5 inches. So I have 7.5 here. And then the length of the dress, we are working with a length of 8.5. So we'll add seam allowance to that. So I'm going to be cutting 9 inches. Because we 9.5 inches, sorry. This is for the front panel. This is for the front parts. So we'll use this to cut the back. The back will be 1.5 inches wider than this. One and a half will be a zipper allowance. So I'm going to cut this out. Not the zipper allowance. So I'm going to be cutting the shoulders together. So just place it on top of each other like this. So the shoulder is 4.5. Remember, this is on fold. This is for the front and then this is for the back. So 4.5. So it's going to be a sleeveless shoulder. So when we are through, it will be 4. And then the neckline, make use of a neckline of 2 inches. So now we are through to be 2.5. And the back neckline is going to be 1 inch deep. For the shoulder slope, we use 1/2 inch. So this is a child. Connect that to to be on the safe side. Let's use can always trim off the excess. So we need to put in this allowance for the shoulder, so we are using 1/2 inch for that. So I'm going to recommit the neckline. So this is the back armhole, sorry, the back neckline. And then the front neckline is going to be 3 inches. So we can make that 2.5. So now when you are through, it becomes 3. After sewing, it becomes 3. So this is our shoulder slope now. If you can see our marking. So this is the neckline for the front. Then this is the neckline for the back. And then this is to trace. This is the back neckline. So next we will take our armhole depth. The armhole depth is 4.6. So you can make that 4.5 since it's going to be sleeveless. Or 4.4. You can always reduce it later. You can always increase it later. So let's use 4 first. So this is the chest line. This is the chest line. This is the waistline. And this is the armhole depth. This is the armhole depth. So get the midpoint of that. And then for the front armhole, we're going to go in by 1/4 of an inch. So that is the back armhole. So that's the front armhole. So includes the chest circumference, which is the bust is 20 divided by 4, that is 5. So this is a bust line. Mark our 5 there. And we'll add our seam allowance. You can add 1.5 or 2 inches seam allowance. So we'll say 2 inches. And then this is the waistline. The waist is 19 inches. 19 divided by 4 is 4.75. 4.75. So it's a little girl's dress. We don't really need a dart. But if you want to give the dress a shape, you can add half-inch dart. Okay. But we are not going to be using. I'm not going to be using a dart for this. I'm just mark the 2 inches here. So I'm going to be cutting it out now. I'll cut the back first, then later on we'll cut the front part. So don't forget to put in your shoulder allowance. This is the shoulder allowance, the joining allowance. So I'll cut the back neckline first. This is the zipper side. For this back piece, I will just reduce here by 1/2 inch. And slant it this way. So we are through with the back piece. Let's complete the front piece. For the front piece, I'll report the neckline and the armhole. We are through for the front part. We'll use this to cut the lining piece. So all our patterns are ready. This is the front piece. Then this is the back piece. This is the back piece. So this is the right side. Just place right side on each other. I'm going to iron a gum stay around the neckline here. Okay. And then you're going to sew with 1/2 inch around the neckline. After that, we are going to notch it so that we can flip it to the other side. Okay. What we are starting with. Sew the neckline for the front, we'll notch it, and do same for the back. Place it right side, the lining right side facing each other, like this. We're also going to iron gum stay here. Then we sew the neckline. We also notch this curvy part. We'll repeat same for this, for the other one. We'll repeat same for the other one. And then this is the layers for the gathers. The first gather is 2 yards. Okay, I will run a gather stitch, 2 lines of gather stitch. I'll run it here so that we can gather it to the waistline. Okay. We are going to be on the line here. I'll show you how to place the gathers. So this is the first tier, 2 yards in length. Then the second, the third, and the fourth, they are 3 yards in length. So we are going to join. I've added extra 1 yard, so we are going to join it to make it long. After which we do the gathers. The gathers, this will be the width of the gathers. I'll show you how to place it. That is what we're going to do for the third and the fourth tier. So I'll go and join this now and run the gathers. So this is for the second one. This is the third. I'm going to do the same thing, adding the extra 1 yard. And this is the fourth tier. So when we are through with that, I'll show you how to place it on the lining. So this is what we have after throwing the neckline with a lining. This is for the front part. This is for the back piece. Now fold 1 inch of the zip. So the next thing, we want to join the shoulders. Place the right side facing each other, so you can join the shoulders together. So to join the shoulders, place it like this. So lining to lining, then fabric to fabric. So you can flip this over like this and then stitch it, or make the two to align like this, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. Make sure it aligns, and then you're going to stitch from here to here. So whichever way you are used to is okay. If you are doing the first one, you just place this in fabric to fabric. Then you want to flip this to the side, and then you join the shoulders. So you repeat same for the other side, so that after joining it will look something like this. Okay, so it can be covered like this. Another way of doing this is to close the armhole first. You sew this armhole, just flip it like this, and then you sew here. And now have something like this. Okay. We'll repeat same for the front part. See, it's like this. We want to turn it in like this, and then sew it close. So after that, we are going to match. After that, we'll put this inside this. We want to pass it out from this side. So let me use the pin to hold it in place. So after sewing, it's going to be something like this. It's going to be something like this. So to join the shoulders, you now, with this on this side, you place this in. You place this in. So you place one side of the shoulder into the other side, making sure that the right side matches with the right side and the wrong side matches with the wrong side. And then you sew here. Once you have the two shoulders, these are the two shoulders. Once you have the two shoulders, just make sure it's aligned same. I'm going to stitch here so that after sewing it will look something like this. So that way the armhole is sewn and the here is also sewn. Okay. And after that, you can now close up the side. You close the side up. Turn this like this. Close the side up. Do same for the other side. Let me extend this again using this side. First, you want to close the armhole. So right now it's like this. This is the outside. You want to match right side to right side. So you place it like this. Like this. You sew. You do same for this. You want to turn this like this so that the wrong side are facing each other. And then you sew. So after that, you now put this into the other one. See it. After sewing like this is the wrong side. Okay, now bring this one, the right side, and place it into this armhole, this shoulder point. Okay, making sure that right side is facing right side and lining is facing lining. So you put this into the shoulder. Like this. So once you have secured it, then you can now go ahead and sew. So that when you now bring it out, it will now be something like this. Okay, so once you through the armhole, so the armhole first, then you do the shoulder. After that, you close up the side like this. sew it. So that we are going to do for all of them. So be careful when you are working with pins. So take note of your measurement, your bust circumference, and then the waist circumference, so you know how much allowance that you have left. So that settles this. So this is the lining for the down part. So I've gone ahead to sew the fabric on the side of the lining so that this can rest on the zipper area. But if you like, you can cut yours, you can cut this one with the main fabric. That way you will not need to make use of a lining again. Okay, so if you have enough fabric, just use your fabric to cut this half circle out. But if you are using a lining, then you can do it like this. So you just place this, place it on it like this. After sewing, you flip it to this side and then fold it in and stitch down. So our first layer will be here, our second, the third, then the fourth layer. So I've gone ahead to make gather stitch on each of the layers. This is the first, this is the second. So I've done gather stitch for all. Now each of them, we are going to be folding the down part. This down part, you fold it twice. You fold once, then you fold again. So we are going to sew from one end to the other. We are going to repeat same for all the layers. To tidy it down, fold it like this, fold again. If you like, you can knit it first, or you can interlock it first and then just fold once. Okay, but I'm going to be folding twice. I'm going to repeat same for all the layers, and then after that I'll pick the first layer, I'll turn it to this side, I'll place this on, I'll leave the space for the zipper. It will not allow you to get to the ends, so you get somewhere here like this, so that by the time we bring it this way. So you also want to close this side, fold it twice. Okay, so after doing that, you now pin this so take the ends. This is the wrong side, this is the right side. This is how you are going to pin it. Just continue like that to the ends. We'll leave half inch. We'll leave half inch seam allowance at the top. That is what we are going to use to join to this upper side. So don't pin exactly at the edge. Leave half inch seam allowance. Leave half inch seam allowance and pin from here. So we'll sew like this on the wrong side. When we are through, I'm going to flip it to the side like this. Now flip it to the right side like this. So this is the same allowance as I talked about that I'm going to leave so that we can attach it to this upper piece. So we're going to repeat same for all the layers. Once you are through with the first, you go ahead and make sure you fold it down twice. You also fold the side twice. Then after that, you just follow your marking and place it like this. And I'm going to sew on the wrong side. Just pin it down. Follow your marking. Just continue to the ends, so that after sewing, we'll now flip it down like this. So it will rest like this, and this will rest on top. Okay. And then the other layer will come in. The second one will come here, and then the last layer. So I'll show you what it looks like when we are through with that. And also I'll show you what this looks like before we attach to this down part. So this is what we have after sewing the tail. The last one, just so you don't need to turn the last one the way you turn these ones. Just put it close to the lining and just sew. So this is what it looks like. So this is the first here, second, third, then fourth. Then this is the upper bodice. So we have joined the side. So we are going to join both together. Just mark the midpoint here. And then make sure you are placing it right side to each other like this. So you need to make use of your pins. So you pin both of them together. So you sew this side and then you also sew to this side. Okay. Then after that, you are going to sew the zipper line. This is the zip we are using. Just mark where the zip will get to. Mark where the zip will get to, and then close up the other parts. They will fix our zip, and that will be all. I'll show you the final look. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. So here is the final look of the dress. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are yet to subscribe. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. 4-tier little girl's dress. See you again in another video.